What's up? So we're back. The Bethesda stream is coming up in like 8.5 minutes. Figured I'd get in a little bit early. So, Oblivion is a fan-fucking-tastic game. Like, defining game from when I was a kid. So seeing that we're finally gonna get a remake of it, I have been waiting for years for this. I was talking to one of my friends about it last night, and I think the reason why I like it so much is because of the way that the world was created and existed in Oblivion, because I didn't get nearly as into Skyrim as I did into Oblivion, and I know Skyrim is like the much more popular of the two games. Oblivion in some ways was probably revolutionary for its time, because it came out in like 2006 and really defined what an open world like RPG should be. But it was always held back by having kind of janky mod support, in my opinion, at least, and having kind of iffy combat. I mean, when I first played it, I played on console, but then later on, when I played it on PC, it was always, I don't know, just not the greatest to mod, whereas Skyrim was much more accessible to modding. But just on a core modless game, I feel like it's always stood up better, at least to me, than Skyrim does. So, for example, Skyrim, I just feel like the world is beautiful, and the combat is undoubtedly better. But it just felt like you were stuck into a world where everything was falling apart. It's like, you've got Alduin and his dragons coming back. Okay, well that's pretty interesting. You've got a civil war. Half the cities in the game are falling apart. The Thieves Guild's falling apart. The Dark Brotherhood's falling apart. Like, I don't know, man. I just felt like everything was going to shit. It was like, the air's shit, the sky's shit, to some extent the whole world is shit. I don't know. But when I played Oblivion, which, you know, obviously I played before it, we had this world that you could go into where you could go up to anybody and talk to anybody, and like they all kind of gave off this act like they were living their lives, right? So it was like a little virtual world you could dive into. But the thing was, Cyrodiil wasn't like falling apart. Like, they had the Oblivion Crisis, it was a big deal, there were demons invading the world. But like, you had a functioning, like, proper medieval society mixed with like Rome, and even though the Emperor was gone and the dragon fires weren't lit and demons were pouring out of hell, everything seemed like if the gates weren't open and after you closed the gates, like everything was kind of nice and fit the I don't know, like the high fantasy. Because you have like your mages and your vampires and your like demons and gods and castles, and I don't know, I like the environment a lot more, and to some extent I think I like the writing more. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Oblivion has like groundbreaking writing. It doesn't. I just think I prefer the way that like the plots of each of the side guilds and whatnot in it. I just didn't feel as, I don't know, excited by them in Skyrim. But I've been sitting here hoping for an Oblivion remake for probably a decade now. Like, ever since they first started remaking Skyrim and whatnot, and when other games getting remade started to get popular, I would sit here and be like, man, they gotta do Oblivion. They could do so much. All they need to do is, like, update the combat system, update the graphics, let it run on modern machines with, like, modern modding infrastructure so that, you know, you can run more and load more. Well, we might finally be getting that. Certainly all the screenshots that I've seen from it make it look amazing, and I've heard that they might be revamping parts of it, like the combat system, for example. And I know that the melee combat between Oblivion and Skyrim didn't really change a whole lot. It went from basically being swing, 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 swing in Oblivion to swing, swing, swing. Oh, and you get an execution animation in Skyrim, right? So I know that they didn't add a ton when it came to melee, but the way that they added in the little quick menu that allowed you to select spells and whatnot quickly, and the way that they revamped magic, I think enhanced the combat. And hopefully whatever they do with, if they update the combat system in Oblivion, hopefully they take it a step further and update the melee too, to make it a little bit more exciting. Maybe add in, like, melee abilities, the way that you have spells. I guess, to be fair, when it comes to Skyrim, I think the reason why the combat works so well is because I don't think you're ever intended to just walk around with a sword, right? Your idea is, like, you use sword and magic, or you use, like, a sword and a shield, or whatever, or you use a spell in each hand, or whatever combination you prefer. And I think that makes it work and, like, flow and, I don't know, just be a little bit more exciting. So hopefully they'll come up with an adaptation of that, because obviously if you play Skyrim these days, there's 101 mods that all change the combat in Skyrim to be more modern, and some of them make it, like, flashier and cooler looking. Some of them just make it like a third person, like, basically hack and slash game but with cooler animations, but some of them basically turn it into Dark Souls and have, like, more challenging reaction based combat where like the moves you decide to do and the dodging that you do actually have a tangible benefit. So we'll see what route they decide to go. I don't think they should go all the way to, like, one end or the other, but it would be nice if we got like an update to melee combat where we got, I don't know, like a couple of abilities that you could slot in instead of a spell, or like put them in your quick slots. So let's say you've got, like, your sword in your right hand, your spell in your left hand, and you've got, like, 2 melee abilities that are on, like, your 1 and 2 quick slots, and then you've got, like, your destruction spells in your hand already, and you've got a resto spell that you've got queued up on your 3rd quick slot that you can pop into. That'd be kind of cool, right? Well, here we go. A buddy and I were sitting here yesterday saying, what if the game just drops today with the announcement?
You hold our future in your hands. Take with you my blessings and the hope of the Empire. Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
But of course, I'm the hero of Kvatch. Of course I'll slam them shut.
Here we are, 20 years later.
It's wild. It has actually been like 20 years.
Scrolls, to us, it goes beyond game franchise.
Yeah, it's the DNA of Bethesda Game Studios.
Obviously, we're working on the 6th chapter here, but what's great about the Elder Scrolls is being able to look back at all of the chapters. Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, Arena, and each of them try to define role-playing games and open-world games for their generation.
Fans got so connected with the worlds we've made and these stories.
Oh man, I can't wait to go back to the arena.
Oblivion was a real defining moment in the series and for how we make games as a studio. I think when it comes to a remaster, we want people to feel the way they did then, but it's still a game of its time. You want to keep those bones in place. You want some of that old charm.
Yeah, we want the old jank.
Oblivion now with this tremendous visual update.
Gotta make my hideous characters.
Amazing. It's the world I remember, but better.
There's so much there, both for the Elder Scrolls world and also this evolution of our
Please
games.
don't take my staircase paintbrushes.
People to take a look back at.
Looking back and seeing everything we've accomplished in the past 20 years and working with these people, like, it's really special.
Yeah, there are still quite a few people that I've worked with for that long, and it sort of gave me the warm fuzzies.
Oh my God, it's been 20 years? I think the thing that gets me the most is the music. Like, when you hear that music at the main menu, there's just like...
Yeah, they're not wrong. I remember when I was a kid, I was trying to find the soundtrack for this because it was such a fucking banger.
Oblivion is the beginning of
It's so
who I
good.
am.
It goes so
As
hard.
an individual, as a game developer, it all starts with it.
I don't even think it took me till release to realize how big this was.
People loved it. Like, they loved it.
Man, like the music when they first do the sky shot going over Imperial City,
of how we build these
right out of
worlds
the prologue
and having players be
cutscene.
able to come back
Oh,
and
it's so
experience
good.
That is really amazing. We had that really special moment of coming out into the world for the first time, what that meant to this game.
Every time we think about Oblivion, it's, what if we could give that moment to everybody again?
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years, I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor. But
Okay,
for
here
all
we go.
these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams. I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking eye may see.
This right here. This is what I was just talking about. Like, does that not go so hard?
Whether you're reliving these moments or experiencing them for the first time, the world of Oblivion Remastered immediately looks and feels incredible. When we decided to remaster Oblivion, we were really picky about finding the right partner. From the very beginning of this project, we had one rule. We weren't going to do this if we weren't going to be able to do it right. Our partners at Virtuous went above and beyond to bring our vision to life. The care and love they've poured into the Oblivion Remaster has been
the one thing that I'm really
absolutely
curious about,
breathtaking.
because of the timing, is if they like fast track this specifically because of Sky Oblivion, since that's set to launch this year.
Experience possible. We've worked with Bethesda Game Studios on other projects in the past, so we know what makes that team and their games special.
We wanted to make the remaster more friendly to gamers with modern hardware. This is Oblivion in its most complete form.
I'm also curious what's going to get included from the DLCs. Like, are we gonna have to pay for horse armor again? I really hope not. But no, I joke. But there were a lot of like housing
Those
DLCs,
familiar with only some Elder
and they had
Scrolls lore will
the
now
Shivering
be able to
Isles
experience
and
the events that
Knights
set
of the
the
Nine.
stage
So
for Skyrim.
I'm curious if
You embark on an
everything's going to
epic
be in there.
journey to stop the Mythic Dawn cult.
The time of cleansing draws nigh.
From unleashing the Daedric Prince of Destruction.
What was the Oblivion Crisis? What happened to the previous Emperor of Cyrodiil? Why are there only 8 divines instead of 9? In addition to the core game, the remaster contains all add-ons, including story expansions, Shivering Isles, and Knights
there
of
we
the
go.
Nine, so you get the full experience.
On a personal level, it was really important to me to ensure that we're preserving the magic of the original experience.
Hey, that's one of the houses too. Frostcrack Spire.
This is a dream project for me, right? I mean, I'm a fan. I have been always a fan.
Well, I played Oblivion for perhaps 10,000 hours.
Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game, and it was one of the games that made me
spent a
want
whole
to
summer
be a game developer.
playing this, like alternating between hanging out with my friends doing like sportsy stuff and just playing nothing but Oblivion when I was on my own.
You will find your own path, but there will be blood and death before the end.
The technology we used to create the original was cutting edge at the time, but tools have come a long way since then.
It's honestly crazy how well it's held up visually for a game from 2006.
The original Oblivion is still the heart and soul of the remaster, but we use Unreal Engine 5 to help achieve all our visual goals. We think of the Oblivion game engine as the brain and Unreal 5 as the body. The brain drives all the world logic and gameplay, and the body brings to life the experience that players have loved for almost 20 years.
But it's not just about pure fidelity. We knew we had to preserve the distinct style, making it as uniquely Oblivion as possible.
I'm curious what they're gonna do with dungeon layouts.
You're stuck here like I am.
Like, they were pretty simple before, so I'm curious if they're gonna keep the same, like, general layout or if they're gonna improve on them.
Eternity.
We've leveraged nearly every major feature from the latest version of Unreal 5.
Our goal was to push the visuals to the next level using the latest technologies. We created brand new, highly detailed character models and stunning landscapes that use millions of polygons in each asset, allowing us a truly impressive
honestly,
level
it
of
is
detail in the world.
incredibly pretty.
Every single asset in this game was completely redesigned and handcrafted from scratch. We implemented an advanced real-time lighting system that accurately simulates how light interacts with the environment. This results in more realistic lighting and atmospheric effects. While the original game had limited dynamic shadows, now the entire world reacts naturally to light. We used an incredible new lip sync technology that really enhanced performance in our characters.
He left us a warning. Heed it!
And real tools helped us create the base mesh of our characters. From there, our artists sculpt each race individually to adapt it to the mesh, allowing us to share the model, rig, and textures.
Okay, but can I still
As a
be
result,
hideous and give
all
myself,
races,
like,
including
the
Argonians,
Crimson Chin
Orcs, and
on an
Khajiits,
orc?
are built on the same base mesh, making the lip sync system more effective even when the characters have very different facial features.
Can I still, like, make myself purple and do all sorts of
We
wacky
have
shit?
access to so many modern rendering features. You'll see them in something as simple as running through a forest. Insects flying around, fish swimming in the water, light filtering through the leaves. Thanks to these technological advances, you feel even more immersed in this living, breathing world. You'll really believe you're in Cyrodiil.
I believe you can handle a more complicated assignment. I would like you to retrieve a carved panel from the central chamber of the High Thane.
It's not just visuals that we've modernized in the remaster.
Okay,
It's
here we
gameplay.
go. Let's see what they've done.
It's UI and UX. It's audio.
Yeah, but
We've
what
updated
with
features and
gameplay have we
systems
done?
across the board.
Surely
We've
it's not
changed
just
the approach to
animations, like,
which
come on.
I think will make a lot of people
Mechanically?
happy. It's
Maybe?
inspired by the leveling systems of both Oblivion and Skyrim, so it's the best of both worlds.
Okay. I mean,
We were
that's
able to
fair.
fully
Oblivion's
recreate the
leveling could
character
really
models,
pigeonhole
creating
you
a
into one
physicality that
specific
feels
build.
more human. You see that in places like combat animations. There's a lot more separation between the upper and lower body, and all the animations have more flourish. Combat in the original Oblivion didn't have sound effects, visual effects, or hit reactions. Now you'll get blood splatters, sparks, and controller feedback. You know, it's a little thing, but little things add up to make the combat more modern and engaging.
There's a proper third-person perspective now. The original had third-person, but there was no crosshair, and we felt the experience could be modernized. One of our goals was to have a third-person view that compared to Starfield in terms of playability. Now, the third-person perspective has all the same control you get from the first-person view.
Oh, that's good.
You have my ear, citizen.
It's always fun to be able to actually see your character.
How goes it? How are you?
Disk storage limits meant we couldn't have unique voiceovers for all the races. So we've gone back and recorded new lines of dialogue.
Oh, hell yeah.
Each race represented
Now I won't have to talk to every guard who sounds the same.
Stand the sight of those creatures.
We also made sure to keep in all of the quirkier dialogue.
I really like the way they say hello. Sometimes it's so random, and then they just, hi there. Hi there. But it's like so nice and creepy at the same time.
Stop! You violated the law. Stop! You violated the law.
Stop, criminal scum.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Cheese for everyone.
Cheese for everyone! We are going to steal one of the Elder Scrolls from the Imperial Palace. You need to find the reading room. The blind priests will deliver a scroll to you there. Do not speak to the priests.
The table looks sick.
Blindfolded. I've chosen you because you are the best. Good luck.
Blade of Woe? Well, it could just be an enchanted obsidian dagger.
Stop! You violated the law. Your stolen goods are now forfeit. Then pay with your blood.
As games have developed over the past 20 years, players have come to expect a certain suite of tools and controls.
Like sprinting. Sprinting is an interesting one because it was such a big debate internally among our teams.
Oh,
Some of us were absolute purists, but ultimately, we decided it's 2025 and people are going to want to sprint.
Yeah, I feel like everything
In fact,
should have sprint.
All of the character locomotion.
A lot of older games, when they revamp them and they don't include it, feel kind of jank.
From the very beginning of the game.
Every single updated or new feature was implemented with the player in mind. It all comes down to what makes Oblivion, Oblivion. What are those features that just immediately come to mind for players when they think of the game?
The mini-games are the mini-games. Those are so iconic to Oblivion.
Great! How's it go again?
Like lockpicking. You can put a fresh coat of paint on it, but you can't change it too much because it's part of the core experience.
Yeah, until I get the skeleton key and then I just mash the force lock button until it opens.
Watch you and worship the ground you walk.
No, we will not be turning the skeleton key in. I prefer my auto lock opener.
We've modernized a lot.
At least until I get my alteration up.
Adventure and the same carefully handcrafted world.
Well, it's about time. Do you know how long we've been waiting?
Yeah, forever. Trust, I've
Oblivion
been waiting.
is a core part of the story of Bethesda Game Studios. None of what we're surrounded by
I really
right
hope that
now
they end this video and they're like, by the way, it's available now.
That game, and if it hadn't been the success that it was, the effort that we put into it, the sort of the love that went into it, I think that comes across on the screen.
To have worked on something that people care enough where you're in a position where you can remaster it, it's a privilege.
And now, to help introduce this game to a new generation of players, I feel so lucky.
I really think that people, when they jump back into the remaster, they're going to be shocked at just how good the game looks.
Yeah, it really does look awesome.
Look
like those Minotaurs look crazy good.
And I think they're just going to find themselves lost in the world.
At least compared to what they used to look
Even
like.
if it's just the music, for example, just walking around for half an hour in the world.
Those reflections in the Oblivion Gate 2 were sick. Because they used to just be like a big fiery
Going back to a
oval.
world that you've been to before, but it's better somehow. Like, it's an intangible thing, but it's like, it's new, it's fun, like it's exciting again.
But it's ultimately the same game. There was a lot of respect for what was before, and I think the fans will appreciate that.
From all of us at Bethesda Game Studios
and Virtuous,
we want to thank you for joining us today. Oblivion has a very special place in my heart, and being able to work on this remaster and bring it to a new generation of players has been an incredible experience. We were too excited to get it in your hands and didn't want to just show it off to you and then make you have to wait. The best part of my job is that I get to be the one to announce that the Oblivion remaster will be available today.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I was born 87
We're going to be downloading this just as soon as we can.
But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams. This is the 27th of last seed, the year of Akatosh 433. These are the closing days of the Third Era and the final hours of my life. I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking eye may see. This is only the beginning. Worse is yet to come. Looks clear.
Yo, that's kind of sick.
The time of cleansing draws nigh.
Who now will save us from the coming darkness?
Yeah, I was thinking about what kind of character to play, and to be honest, I feel like I gotta remake Marcus as my first guy. He was like a sword mage.
Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll be downloading that in about 5 minutes, hopefully, assuming that it's up on Steam and all that already. God, that's so exciting.